Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we're having a battle against Ritchy, also known as Lionel. Get it? Lionel Ritchie, from the Discord server. Go ahead and join the Discord server. It's the best place to go for Pokémon Scholar and Violet Wi-Fi is right now. I'm in. Sorry, had to. Still got it. Anyway, this is a strong competitive battler off of Discord. We're playing here, Ritchie, and looking at his team there, it looks to be pretty powerful stuff, pretty interesting as well. Definitely making use of those new Pokemon we have here, thanks to the Indigo Disc DLC. So, looking at my team, it is the same one that I used in the last game. So, what do I want to do here? I think we're going to lead with the Cinderace in this one, actually. And, yeah, we'll go ahead and see how that works out. Oh, and I did something that I often do here, actually, which is I forgot to disguise my Hisuian Zoroark. So that's a disadvantage right off the bat. Realized it right after I clicked accept. So, we're going to see if we can overcome that blunder on my side, as he's going to go ahead and lead with the Emboar. We are going to lead with the Cinderace. So, we should be outspeeding this thing, that's for sure, unless it is Scarf, which it very well could be. So yeah, that's a consideration. So, how do we want to play this here? I don't know if I want to... How do we want to play this here? I mean, we could U-turn, but the chip would be pretty negligible if we do. I kind of want to just straight up switch to Quagsire, but at the same time, I don't know how many attacks we can really take from this thing, even with Quagsire. I think it might be important to scout to kind of see what set this is. I don't know how important or how big of a player Cinderace could be. Maybe, I don't know. I guess we're just going to U-turn. That's really what we'll do. So we'll U-turn, and he is Scarf, so that sucks. So he goes for the double edge. We actually do take one, interestingly enough. We're going to go for the U-turn. Libero going to change us to a bug type, so we get a little bit of chip damage there. He also took some recoil chip there as well. So I think that's definitely confirmation that he's Scarf, because I don't think Emboar is very fast. I kind of want to just do something else that I usually don't do during games, and I just want to double check what the speed of this thing is, just because I have already screwed myself. So yeah, this thing is pretty slow, so that's got to be Scarf 100%. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Zoroark, Hisuian Zoroark, which, as I had previously mentioned, thanks to my stupidity, is not disguised. So, we're going to see what we can do here with this. Now, I think we could actually pretty freely go for a Nasty Plot, since we know this thing has to be Scarf, so we're just going to do that, as he does indeed switch, and we're going to see what he wants to come in with. It is going to be the Tentacruel, so we go for the Nasty Plot, we get that sharp special attack increase, which is always nice. Now, I think we're just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I don't think there's any reason not to. We are Focus Sash, so we know we can survive at least one attack from this thing, so we're just going to Shadow Ball. We do outspeed this thing. +2 Shadow Ball incoming. How much is it going to do to the Tentacruel? Not quite enough to take it out, unfortunately, as he actually goes for a Toxic Spikes, which is kind of interesting. So he's going to get that set up on us, and then he is going to regain some HP with the Black Sludge. So that's interesting that he would choose to go for a Hazard there in the face of the threat that is a +2 Hisuian Zoroark. But nonetheless, this time around, I am kind of tempted, since he does have the switch to Shadow Ball, I'm kind of tempted to just go for a Terra Blast here. So I think I'm actually going to do just that, as he does switch. So if we could catch the Ursaluna coming in on that, that'd be great. And it looks like indeed we have caught the Ursaluna coming in. So there it is, as we go for the Terra Blast at +2. That is going to nearly take this thing out. Not quite, as he does get burned off of the Flame Orb. So That's pretty nice for us, actually. Now the question becomes, what do we want to do in the face of this thing? So this thing could obviously Terra into something, so I think our safest play is just to reveal our full set and go for the Flamethrower, so that's exactly what we're going to do here. As he doesn't Terra, we go for the Flamethrower at +2. Will be more than enough to go ahead and finish the Ursaluna off, knocking him down to 5. So Hisuian and Zoroark putting in the work here, which is of course incredible. As now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Emboar. So we know for a fact that this thing is Scarf, so we know he's going to outspeed us. However, we're so set up now that we're just going to stay in and attack him, given the fact that we are in fact Sash. We can survive any attack, so we're just going to go ahead and go for the +2 Terra Blast here, as he goes for the Flare Blitz. Obviously going to go ahead and take us right down to our Sash, but we do survive because of it. And we're going to go ahead and, as he takes more recoil damage here, we're going to go ahead and go for that +2 Terra Blast. And that is going to finish off the Emboar and knock him down to 4. So Hisuian and Zoroark putting in the work here, and that is incredible. Absolutely incredible, as now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Metagross. So obviously this thing could very easily have Bullet Punch. The question is, do we want to try and save the Zoroark? And at 1 HP, I don't know that it's really worth trying to save the Hisuian and Zoroark, so we could try to... We don't have... I mean, we could try to save it. We could try to save it. That's definitely something we could do. He's got to have the Bullet Punch. I would assume he has to have the Bullet Punch here. The only problem is he does still have the Toxic Spikes up, which is a problem, so anything we come in with is going to get poisoned. But you know what? I think we are just going to try to save this, so we'll switch into the Quagsire. I feel like the Bullet Punch is really obvious here, so if nothing else, we can maybe save this thing for fodder for later. No reason just to lose it, you know, for no reason. So we're going to come in with the Quagsire. We do get poisoned off the Toxic Spike, which does suck, as he is going to go for the Bullet Punch as anticipated, so that's not going to do too much of anything to the Quagsire, fortunately. And then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers, and then of course we are going to lose some HP to the poison. So, question now is, what does he want to come in with? So, I think he probably does switch here. The only question is into what? Probably the Vileplume, I would imagine. So I think we're actually just going to go ahead and go for a Yawn, anticipating the switch. He does switch out, which is good. So we're going to be able to get a Yawn on something, as he does bring in the Vileplume. So that thing's coming in, and we do get a Yawn on it, which is pretty important. So that means he's going to have to either switch the Vileplume next turn, or it's going to go to sleep. So we do get some HP back with the leftovers, which is nice, and then we are going to go ahead and take more poison damage. So I am definitely not prepared to stay in on this matchup here, because if he does choose to stay in and go for the Grass attack, it's going to be a bad time for us, obviously. So the question is, what do we switch in against this thing? I feel like our best switch in is going to be the Vikavolt. So you know what, we're just going to go ahead and switch to the Vikavolt and see what he wants to do. He does switch the Vileplume out, not wanting to go to sleep, obviously. And he switches into the Tentacruel here, which is kind of okay, as we do make the switch into the Vikavolt. So we are in. He does get some HP back with the Black Sludge here. And so in this situation, he definitely could set another layer of Toxic Spikes up here, which would kind of suck. But at the same time, I feel like since now he has no electric immunity on his team, we can pretty safely just go for the Volt Switch, so that's what we're going to do. He does actually just go for a Sludge Wave to get damage. That does take us down by almost half. He gets the Poison too, which is really unfortunate. Does suck for sure, but we do get the Volt Switch on this thing to go ahead and finish the Tentacruel off and knock him down to 3. So that is pretty important for us. We do get the Pivot here. The only bad news about this is we're going to have to bring something in. So we could bring the Hisuian Zoroark in to simply go down to the Poison, although I think that's kind of a waste. We could bring the Quagsire in, but that would force him into the Vileplume, essentially. I feel like we could also bring in the. I kind of don't want the Metagross to come in. That's really what I'm a little worried about at this point. I kind of don't want the Metagross to come in. I'm kind of okay if the Vileplume comes in, actually. So I think we are going to go into the Quagsire, actually. So that's what we're going to do. And we're already poisoned, so obviously we don't get poisoned again, as we do get some HP back from the leftovers. And we are going to take some damage from poison. So we'll see what he wants to bring in here. He's got the Metagross, the Vileplume, and I believe the Screamtail. So obviously that is going to bait in the Vileplume here, so there it is. We obviously don't want to stay in on this matchup here, so I think we could make the sack play and switch to the Hisuian Zoroark right now. I kind of want to do that because Hisuian Zoroark, there's not much it can do at this point. We just need a clean switch, essentially, so we're just going to make the sack play and come in with the Hisuian Zoroark here. I think that's our best allocation of that resource right now, so we're going to come in with that. It is disguised as Cinderace, although it's not going to matter. We get poisoned off the Toxic Spikes as he goes for a Leech Seed, which is kind of fine, actually, obviously, so he is going to go ahead and, unfortunately, steal that precious 1 HP back from us, although he's at full, so he doesn't need it, so that is going to get rid of the Zoroark and knock us down to 5. So now we have to decide what we want to bring in against the Vileplume. I kind of want to. I feel like we can go into the Duraludon probably against this thing. We do have options. We could go into the Vikavolt as well. Try to wear this thing down. He could have poison coverage, so I kind of don't want to go into the Rillaboom. We could go Cinderace. You know what? I think we can actually relatively safely go into the Cinderace, actually, the real Cinderace. So that is, in fact, what we're going to do. We don't get poisoned because we are heavy-duty boots. And now I think we can pretty safely just go for the Pyro Ball. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. And we'll see what he wants to do. If he does stay in, it should do massive damage, if not take him out. So he is, in fact, going to go ahead and switch, and we'll see what he wants to come in with. It is going to be the Screamtail, kind of as expected, since it's his only remaining Pokemon that isn't weak to fire. So he comes in with that. We go for the Pyro Ball, and of course we have to miss, because why wouldn't we? So that sucks. So we missed the Pyro Ball. That's unfortunate. Now the Screamtail here, we have to be a little careful because the Screamtail, if it's max speed investment, it actually will outspeed us. So that's something that we have to kind of watch out for here, because Screamtail is very fast. So I think we actually just want to straight up switch into the Duraludon. So that's what we're going to do. I don't think there's a ton this thing could do to the Duraludon. So that is in fact what we're going to do. So there it is. And he does go for a Psyshock, so that's obviously not going to do too much damage to the Duraludon. We are max HP Eviolite. He even gets a crit, and that does absolutely nothing. So this surely is going to force him into Metagross here. So I feel like he probably goes Metagross here. So I think knowing that, what we're going to do is we're probably going to go for a Thunderbolt just to try and get some damage. I feel like that's our best play. So yeah, we're going to go Thunderbolt here as he actually stays in, interestingly enough. So he goes for the Light Screen, gets the increase to all the special moves for several turns, or increased special defense for several turns. Thunderbolt doing practically nothing after that, unfortunately. And so, yeah, that's not great. Obviously not great. So I think what we're going to do now, how do we want to handle this thing? If we could get the Cinderace in, that would be huge, but I kind of don't think we can right now. I think you know what? I think what we have to do is we have to go into the Quagsire. I think that's what we have to do. So that's what we're going to do. And kind of the reason that I want to do this is because I want to bait the Vileplume back in. I'm thinking ahead, something I don't do normally. So there's the Reflect that is going to increase the physical defense of all his Pokemon for several turns as well, as we get some HP back from the leftovers, and then we take some damage from the poison. So what I really want in this situation is to get the Cinderace in against the Vileplume. So what I'm going to do here, I could predict the double switch, but I'm not comfortable doing that, so I'm just going to yawn, actually, as he does go for a Psyshock, interestingly enough. So the Psyshock incoming is going to do some chip to us as we go for the yawn, which means that the Screamtail will get put to sleep next turn if he doesn't switch out. So we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers here. And then we are going to take some damage from the poison. So this is going to be a difficult decision for us to make right now. I think what we have to do in this situation is, I think we're going to go... He could easily switch into the Metagross, although I kind of doubt it. So we're actually going to Ice Punch, predicting the Vileplume to come in. He does switch because he doesn't want to go to sleep. And he is, in fact, going to come in with the Metagross, so that's interesting. So he comes in with Metagross instead as we go for the Ice Punch, so that's not going to do much of anything to the Metagross, unfortunately. Obviously, thanks to the screen and everything. So we get some HP back from the leftovers, and then we take more poison damage. So the Metagross is definitely not what we want to see right now. I think our best bet against this thing is to try and yawn it, although I don't think we can take an attack, but that's really all we can do here. He goes for a Psychic Fang, and unfortunately we obviously can't take that. He does get the crit, although I don't think that mattered at all, because that's going to go ahead and take the Quagsire out, dropping us down to 4. So we have a big decision on our hands to make right now. What I really want to do is go into the Cinderace and try to court change. That's what I really want to do right now. But I don't know if we can take a Bullet Punch, even resisted from that range. But you know what? Screw it. Time is running out, so I think that's what we're going to do, because time's running out. So we're going to come in with the Cinderace here. He either switches to the Screamtail, or he tries to tank the Pyro Ball, or tries to take us out with a Bullet Punch. But I think we try to court change here. He is going to Terra, though, so he's going to go ahead and bust out his Terra, perhaps to survive a fire attack. What type is he going to Terra into here? It is going to be Ground. So he's gone Terra Ground in an attempt to perhaps live a Pyro Ball. Hopefully he doesn't go Bullet Punch. We're going to see what happens. We do get the Court Change off, which is incredible. That's exactly what we need right now. So we're going to Court Change all the hazards and the screens flip sides of the field now, which is incredible. He goes for the Psychic Fang. It does actually break the barriers, the light screens, and the reflects, unfortunately. But it is important because we get those off of his side of the field, so that's really important. So we go down to 3 there, as now I think the time has come to go ahead and come in with Rillaboom. So we're going to go ahead and bring Rillaboom in here. We are going to get the Grassy Surge to set the grassy terrain on the battlefield here as well. We are going to go ahead and pop our Grassy Seed, which is going to give us a physical defense increase for several turns. Now, we have a choice on our hands here. At +1, +1 defense, I'm actually pretty confident that we can just go ahead and go for a Swords Dance, so that's exactly what we're going to do. He does go for the switch, as expected. As we're pushing the edges of the timer here, he does come in with the Vileplume, so that thing's coming in, getting rid of the Toxic Spikes off his side of the field. We go for a big Swords Dance to get that +2 physical attack, and now it's all on Rillaboom. So I think we outspeed this thing, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and Terrastalize to a ground type, because he surely wouldn't go for a grass attack here. So we're going to go ahead and Terra and go for the Acrobatics. That's what we're going to do, because if he outspeeds us and goes for the poison attack, it will do considerably less damage now that we've gone Terra Ground. So we are Terra Ground on the Rillaboom right now, here and now, ready to go. And we are going to go ahead and see, we do outspeed, go for the +2 Acrobatics to knock out the Vileplume and knock him down to 2. So Rillaboom in the driver's seat, that is incredible. That's exactly what we need. This is exactly what I was hoping for. So now he's got 2 Pokemon left. He's got the Screamtail and the Metagross. So what does he come in with here is the question. Which one does he come in with? The Screamtail or the Metagross? I feel like the Screamtail probably comes in here, more than likely. But we will see what happens as we're really starting to run out of time here. So, because the Metagross is Terra Ground, so I really do not think it takes a +2 Grassy Glide. So yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. What is it going to be? And it is going to be the Screamtail, as expected. So the Screamtail comes in. We know this thing outspeeds us, so I think we just go for the +2 Grassy Glide. There's no reason to make any risks here. Go for that +2 Grassy Glide. Not quite enough to take this thing out, unfortunately, as he goes for the Reflect to get that physical defense increase back up. We have less than a minute left here as the terrain going to heal him a little bit. We're just going to go for it again, no reason not to. And this time it's enough to go ahead and take that Screamtail out, knocking him down to just one Pokemon, which is incredible. So his last Pokemon is going to be the Metagross. So the question is, Terra Ground Metagross comes in. The question is, can our +2 Grassy Glide take this thing out? We're just going to go for it. No reason not to. We go for it. Is it enough? No, it's not enough through the Reflect, unfortunately, as he is going to go for the Earthquake here. It is Terra boosted, as it does considerably less damage, obviously, thanks to the grassy terrain, which is great. We both get some HP back. Can we finish the game here? The grass is going to disappear, which means we don't have priority, but that's okay. Going to go for another Grassy Glide. With seconds left on the clock, he is going to go for the Earthquake. It is no longer reduced damage, but we do still take it with a quarter HP, go for the next Grassy Glide, and it is going to be enough to go ahead and finish that Metagross off. And that is game. Alright, so we are going to win that one 3-0 against Ritchy, but that was a great match, actually. Very close, very competitive. Right down to the wire, a buzzer beater, if ever there was one there. With seconds left on the clock, we get the job done. And just an all-around great match there. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.